Yo, Caesar here, and welcome to the inaugural race of the inaugural season of Proximity GT Sport Racing League. Just to give you all a bit of an information, we are the league based out of India, and hence you'll see a lot of drivers with the Indian flag next to the name. Uh, a proper organized league, I believe, is has never been done in India with the commentary, proper stewarding, and the points table. All that sort of stuff. So I believe I can claim that, as per my knowledge, and that we are the first one in the country, in India that is, to hold such a league. So without further ado, let's just get back into the race. And the race is being held in the circuit of Catalonia. So just before we tune into the race, just a bit of information that since we don't have a live com for this league, bringing the qualifying session will be a bit difficult, but maybe someday in the future we'll have a commentator who can stream these races for us live with the commentary. So but until then, we'll be having post-race commentary over the races done by me, and hopefully by other guys as well, who probably will be able to help me out. But yeah, enough of me talking, let's get back into the race. So now we have all lined up for the start of the inaugural race of season 1 of Proximity Racing League in GT Sport. Really difficult to tell when the light goes off, and the light goes off, and Abbey to Speed hasn't got the best of start. Caesar from P3 up into P2, side by side. It's a drag race to turn 1 in the circuit of Catalonia. Who will take the lead? Will there be any collision? Everyone is so close to each other. Abbey Speed is down to P5. I hope this is all clean, and both go side by side, giving each other enough space, and looks like everyone has gone through cleanly. The top 5 has pulled away a bit of a gap from the field at the back, but everyone close behind is, and there's a collision behind. Abbey Speed, I believe, has hit pre-RX Skinny, and Skinny is off onto the gravel at the exit of turn 2, I believe. That was turn 2, and I see that someone else had gone off as well. I believe that was Sands. But other than these two, everyone has gone off pretty cleanly up in the front. Meanwhile, Clownster is up into P2, gone on the inside of Caesar, and Caesar seems to have lost some ground, but he is back on the outside getting better traction. Hopefully no incident at this corner, but no, Clownster giving him all the space on the outside, and Caesar files back behind the Ancient Pleb up into P2. Further down the field, Abbey has made his way up back into P3, down to P5. Remember, he started P2. Not the best of the race start, but remember, Caesar and Abbey to Speed are teammates, as he already has a 5/10 of the penalty, as 3 wide into that corner. That's mini hairpin, and Abbey's back down back down to P4, as Clownster is fighting this really hard, but Abbey down the inside is up into P3. So this battling is really helping Caesar and Pleb pull off into the distance, but now Abbey seems to have got some gap to the car behind us. There's a collision behind us. Clownster just holds on to his car. It's one thing to notice that everyone is in the Mercedes except Ancient Pleb, who is in the Lamborghini Huracan. Flipper, meanwhile, is in the Viper. There's another Mercedes, and Balkaran is in the Ferrari 458, and everyone else is in the Mercedes. So not the best of start for Skinny, who was on the medium tires, let's not forget, while the rest of the guys, at least in the front runners, are on the soft. So there's a battle going on for the position of P4. Abbey to Speed has managed to pull away the gap from the pack behind, but it's a 4-way battle for the position between Clownster, RKV, Wildest Monk, and Fun Anywhere, as they go side by side into that long right-hander, as Clownster and RKV fight for P4, and Clownster and Fun Anywhere and Monk fighting for P5. So this is really interesting. These guys are giving each other enough space, enough respect, and now they have formed into a single file. So everyone here, especially Clownster, lives to fight another day up into P4. Further back down the field, Flipper, Abbey, Balkaran, and Sands. Skinny, meanwhile, is too far behind the field, but Edie Sands is fighting Balkaran for P10. Abbey is catching up to Flipper, who is on the racing hard. So Abbey Taku should... And there's a collision between Wildest Monk and Clownster. Wildest Monk trying to go down the inside of Clownster, but in the process taps him from behind, and as a result, Clownster losing all sort of positions down to P11. Few corners earlier he was fighting for P4, but now he's well down the grid order. So let's stick to this battle. Will the Slipstream, as we all know, is pretty strong in this game. Will the Slipstream help RKV close down? Help Fun Anywhere close down to RKV? We'll have to wait and see, but I think the gap between him and RKV is big enough to not make any move here. As we've seen, Caesar meanwhile is down into P3, so he has had a spin in the last lap at around turn 5, I believe, if I'm not wrong, turn 5. He tried to go on the throttle much earlier and had a spin that has resulted in Abby to speed gain P2, but a bit of an insight into the team strategy. Caesar meant to let Abby to speed through, but oh, there's a spin. I'm sorry, I totally forgot. Caesar had indeed let through Abby to speed in the previous lap, but this was a lap that cost him all the position, as you can see, from P3. Remember, he was in P3 when he had that spin. Now he's down all the way back into P10, still ahead of Clownster and Skinny. Skinny has meanwhile managed to close on the gap to Clownster Knight, and Clownster Knight is not too far away from Caesar, so the race is going from bad to worse for Caesar, as the battle for P3 is still continuing between these three guys, as the Wildest Monk dives it down the inside of Fun Anywhere. And I believe that's the move done. Yes, that is the move done, and thus it. So Wildest Monk is making inroads into this race, and yeah, RKV meanwhile is still holding on to his P3, but the way Wildest Monk is making his, as Ancient Pleb is into the pits very early into the race, and so is Fun Anywhere. So first phase of pit stop is coming in, and remember, these guys were on the softs, so we'll have to wait and see what's compound of tires they choose. Meanwhile, battle for P2, as we can see, Ancient Pleb just coming in front of these guys, but no, he broke there, just letting these guys through, not wanting to be a part of it. And Flipper has jumped Fun Anywhere, who I believe I saw he's on the hard. So now the challenge for Ancient Pleb is to get in front of these guys. He is on the racing soft, so he will have all the advantage, pace advantage over these guys. I mean, not that he had any disadvantage with the pace that he has over everyone here, but yeah, down the inside he goes of RKV. RKV has lost 2 positions in the matter of few corners. Wildest Monk is meanwhile showing that he has the pace here to challenge for the podium here. Let's have a look further back down the field. There's no move done there, so we can have a look at the back. Meanwhile, the battle for P6 is a 3-way fight between Fun Anywhere, who has made his pit stop already. He's on the racing hards. Edie Sands on the old one racing soft. He goes into the gravel, almost loses it, but somewhere Abby Taco has gone into the wall for the behind the field. As you can see, the tire wear is not the best, as Skinny has made his move on the racing medium, so the tire compound is helping him now gain all the advantage onto the guys, as Caesar is still up in down to P11, but he has made his pit stop and he's on the racing hards now. Clownster has made his pit stop and he's on the medium, so he should be able to close down the gap to Caesar, as Abby Takor, I believe he has let Caesar through, and as a wise thing to do, not fight for the position when you know the guy behind it has made his pit stop and you are about to pit. So now Ancient Pleb right on the tail of Wildest Monk. He has all the slipstream, and I'm pretty sure he won't hold back, and yeah, Wildest Monk will not defend this, as he knows that this is a lost battle anyway, and especially with the pace Pleb has, and yeah, pretty easy move. Abby to speed meanwhile is much further ahead. He is yet to make his pit stop. Yeah, the tire wear is not as bad as everyone else, but the Ancient Pleb is, remember, is on the fresh soft tires, so we'll have to wait and see how quickly Pleb catches up to him. Meanwhile, further back down the field, Sands has a second penalty, and Skinny meanwhile is coming under attack from Caesar. Caesar on fresh set of Hards, Skinny on a few laps old mediums, but Clownster on the medium is really catching up to these two guys who are running, who are the only ones in fact on the track running the proximity livery. So yeah, well done to both of them. So in the meantime, judging by the cars on the map, this is the closest battle for P9. Caesar, after that early spin, will be looking to make amends. I mean, the podium definitely looks out of contention right now, but it's a long race. It's a half an hour endurance, so we'll have to wait and see how the race pans out for him. Meanwhile, he is closing down on Skinny in a bid to maximize his race positions. As further up the field, we do have a battle for P5 between Flipper and Fun Anywhere. Flipper down the inside on the fresh set of hards, makes the move stick at the place where the overtakes are not made too often, but that was a pretty good move from Fun Anywhere, and he moves up into P5. So we can see that Flipper is really struggling. Wildest Monk goes into the pits, and fuel wise I think he's doing pretty well, much better than Edie Sands is, and you can see the gap that Fun Anywhere has built onto the wiper of Flipper. Let's have a look at the tire conditions right now for all these guys. Balkaran is doing a bit worse than Skinny's tires. Caesar meanwhile has caught up right up to them, and Clownster, I'm sorry, Clownster is right on Caesar still. Caesar on the hards and Clownster on the racing medium, so he will be looking to make the move as quickly as possible. You can see it's a train of 5 cars up until the Wildest Monk. Wildest Monk is on the fresh racing soft, so he is definitely out of danger, and he will pull away from the guys behind. But not so the case between Balkaran and Skinny. You can see how close everyone is, and the Clownster Knight is at the most advantage here, but the most disadvantage as well. He's right at the back of this field. So we'll have to wait and see how. Oh, he's thinking of going down the inside, and he actually does, and what a move. And Caesar has to let off the throttle so as to not go into the back of him, but that was a pretty good move from Clownster. And Clownster, you can see how late he can brake, and the time that he's gaining in the braking zone. Balkaran, his Ferrari, is now really struggling. That Ferrari is not known for its tire wear, and on a track like Catalonia, I don't think that was the best choice, but I mean, I believe that he was the most comfortable. So let's have a look at this, and we can see Clownster sending it down the inside, and he has made a spin. He has made the spin. The side contact has resulted, and the eagerness of him getting in front on the fresh mediums has really costed him. As we can see, Balkaran and Skinny are going to the pits. So only if Clownster had been a bit more patient with his overtaking choice of part, if I make any sense. If he had chosen the right place to overtake, I think he would have been much further up the order. As we can see, RKV and Balkaran coming in front of Clownster. So these guys were struggling on Balkaran and I believe that was Skinny, and now Balkaran is again rejoined on the fresh set of mediums in front of Clownster. So not the best decision. That has caused Clownster a lot of position. You can see Clownster is right under attack from Edie Sands. So let's have a look. Skinny is on the racing mediums, Abby Thakur on fresh soft of hard, so he will be looking to run long. Meanwhile, our race leader, Abby to Speed, who hasn't got much of the coverage in the race today, or rather tonight, is running comfortably up into P1, and Ancient Pleb is catching up slowly and steadily to Abby to Speed. Abby to Speed has made his pit stop, but Pleb has his tires in a better conditions. Meanwhile, Fun Anywhere is running in P3 for now, followed closely by Wildest Monk, who is having a pretty decent race, I must say. Wildest Monk is on the racing soft, so he will catch up to Fun Anywhere pretty quickly, as he is on the racing hards. Further back down the field, Flipper in his Viper is doing pretty well for himself. Viper not known to be really quick in the corners, but he's doing pretty well in the Viper, who is definitely an underdog in this race. Caesar, after that early spin, is making inroads and he's up into P6 into Racing Hard, so he is looking to play a long game. His strategy is definitely not running as he would have hoped, so definitely a plan B for Caesar. RKV up into P7 on fresh racing mediums. For the back down the field, Edie Sands is right on the tail of Clownster. Clownster using defensive line keeping in the middle of the track, and Sands thought of sending it down the inside, but luckily for both of them, they both ghosted as E.T. Sands. Meanwhile, Clownster really overshot that corner, and in the bid to rejoin the track, he really lost a lot of time, and now you can see Clownster has pulled away from Clownster, so it's going to be another head down, be as fast as you can for Clownster. You can see Clownster is struggling, and his front left especially is taking a lot of hit. He is, by the look of that, he is pushing really hard right now. That spin a couple of laps earlier hasn't served him well, so he should play a waiting game, be a bit patient, and really think about where he's making his move. As we can see, Edie Sands going really wide of the curves in the previous corner. Further elsewhere on the track, Skinny is running on the fresh mediums. He's down in P11, but we'll have to wait and see how much further inroads he can make. As we can see, Clownster is really pushing his car, how much he closed down, but that has resulted in him, you can see how much he's twitching all over the place, so he is getting really impatient now. He knows that he shouldn't be down the grid order this much at this stage of the race, but he really needs to play the patient game. As you can see, the battle for P3 is really on between Fun Anywhere and Wildest Monk. Fun Anywhere on the fresh set of racing, not exactly fresh, but on a better set of Racing Hard compared to the Racing Soft. And yeah, Fun Anywhere has made the move stick. So this is lap 9, and the battle for P3 continues. So we can still see Wildest Monk and Fun Anywhere still fighting it out for the final step on the podium, but Fun Anywhere doing enough to hold on to his position. So this is the only real battle going on at the moment, but further behind it's kind of a mini turn at very much equal distance. We can see Flipper right ahead in his Viper. I believe he's on the fresh off. A bit more worn hard tires compared to Caesar, so Caesar could definitely be closing in on him. Just a bit behind him is RKV on the medium compound of tires, so he will be really closing on Caesar as compared to Caesar closing on to Flipper. Balkaran meanwhile in his Ferrari on equal lap old medium tires compared to RKV, so that battle is still going on. Further back up the field, the battle for P3 is still continuing as Wildest Monk is really hounding Fun Anywhere to get the position off him, and you can really see him pushing Fun Anywhere through the corner. And now this is the long straight where it will be an easy move Wildest Monk will make, but the straight line speed is not quick enough as he would have liked. And Fun Anywhere taking defensive line as Slipper goes into the pits, but on the outside Wildest Monk breaks late and makes the move stick. So that was a really good move, quite unexpected for me to be honest, but a really clean and a good move. Further back down the field we have another battle going on. This is Skinny going for his move on Edie Sands, but Edie Sands just taking the hazard, making the hazard slide on and letting Skinny through. So we can see Skinny is on the medium tires and on a much better tire conditions than Sands. Sands just goes a bit wide there, but that move was done and dusted before they could reach the corner. And as you can see here, RKV is right on tail of Caesar. Caesar on the Racing Hards and RKV on Racing Medium, so tire advantage is definitely for here to see. And pretty soon RKV could be making his move, probably braking late or just using the main straight to make his move, but This is the closest battle now we have. I believe Wildest Monk and Fun Anywhere, their battle is still going on. They're still pretty close to each other, but yeah, the gap is grown a bit, and you can see Wildest Monk had that advantage as Ancient Pleb goes into the pits, and RKV sends it down the inside, and there's nothing Caesar could do about it. And with the tire advantage that RKV has, he will be able to pull away from Caesar. So Caesar down into P6 after starting in P3, I'm sorry, in P3, but he's still not giving up. He's still keeping close behind RKV and trying to keep as close to RKV as possible. But we can see Caesar is going into the pits, and he was on the hard compound of tires. I'm sorry, so we'll have to wait and see what compound of tire he goes on to. And speaking of the pit stop, Pleb has changed onto racing softs, is what I've seen. Let's have a look at any other battle going on at the moment. None that I can see except this one between Flipper and Sans. Flipper on his Viper fresh compound of hards and a much better straight line speed compared to the Merc. You can see the gap of the speed 250 and he's already touching 260. So, but the straight wasn't long enough for Flipper to make the move. But you can see a bit of a contact. Sans is ghosting everywhere, so that might have triggered Flipper to just go for the move, but Sans unghosted just in time for Flipper to make contact with him. So this should be an easy move, going down the inside, breaking a bit late, and you can see so an easy move done. And I believe Sans will have to fall behind Flipper and continue with his race up the field. Okay, where's Monk? Monk is here, so Monk, I assume, hasn't made a pit stop, but Flipper, Fun Anywhere has his. Yeah, definitely, you can see fresh set of racing medium is Fun Anywhere on, so definitely trying an undercut here on the Wildest Monk. Or will Wildest Monk go into the pits, and will he react to the pit stop that was made by Fun Anywhere? We'll have to wait and see, and yes, he is definitely coming into the pit, so this will be interesting to see where Fun Anywhere comes in regards to Wildest Monk. Half a tank of fuel left, so he has plenty. He has done quite a good job of saving his fuel, but we'll keep an eye on Fun Anywhere. But for the back, there's no real battle. I thought that these guys are close, but yeah, we're still on board with Fun Anywhere. But I believe Wildest Monk is already out of the pits, and he is coming at the end of, coming at turn 1 now, turn 2. So I assume Fun Anywhere had his tank refueled. He's at 75%, and Wildest Monk is still at half. So Wildest Monk hadn't fueled, and I believe Fun Anywhere did. But unlike Fun Anywhere, Wildest Monk is on the racing soft. Fun Anywhere, you can see, is on the racing medium. So now all of a sudden these two are on a totally different strategy with total load of fuel in their cars. So we'll have to wait and see how these guys go about with their races. Let's have a look at any battles that are going on. And yeah, there is a battle between Clownster Knight and ED Sans. So ED Sans has been involved in quite a lot of battles over the past few laps, but unfortunately for him, he has been overtaken by every single one of them. But let's not jump to conclusion. It's still a long race, so you never know where ED Sans might finish. As Abhi Thakur, who is at the very back of the pack, a very unfamiliar place for him, I believe. But yeah, not the best race is Abhi Thakur having at the moment. As you can see, someone has spun. Who is this? This is Balkaran. So Balkaran has a moment somewhere. Yeah, you can see the Ferrari. And look at the rear tires. As expected, the rears are really not helping Balkaran here, and you can see it's broke really late. Maybe he misjudged the braking point, but luckily for Flipper, there was no damage. And as we can see, Abhi and Ancient Pleb both are in the pit stop, and Ancient Pleb has somehow come out in front. So something must have happened with Abhi to Speed. We can see Abhi to Speed has been jumped by RKV and Wildest Monk, and he is on the racing soft, and he just comes in front of Fun Anywhere. So for him, he would be looking to gain as many positions now as possible. As you can see, he's twitching just a bit as someone is in the pits. Skinny comes out of the pit stop in P6. Flipper is right behind, followed by Caesar on the hard compounds. Further back, Edie Sands is on the racing, fresh set of racing soft, that is, and Clownster in P10. Where will Balkaran come? Will Balkaran... No, Clownster, you can see, is already well ahead of him. So every one of them at the moment is on their own, except the battle for P3 is still going on, as RKV has been overtaken by Abbey to Speed. So Abbey to Speed is looking to make inroads as quickly as possible, and you can see Abbey to Speed will pull away from RKV now, and fresh racing soft compared to old and worn out racing medium, so there's absolutely no chance RKV could have defended that. But he's coming under attack from Fun Anywhere on a relatively fresher medium compound. You can see how much he's closed down on the braking zone itself, and now he will be looking to push RKV as much as he can through these corners. You can see how much RKV is struggling with his grip, and down the inside does Fun Anywhere sends it and makes it a relatively easy move. So that's the good news for Fun Anywhere. It overtook RKV that quickly, and rather than wait for the final corner, and I'm assuming RKV will go into the pits. No, he still carries on, so pretty bold of him to continue on such a worn-out medium tires. I would have personally gone into the pits, but to each their own. As we can see, the battle between Flipper and Caesar is still continuing. Caesar is closing on to the back of Flipper slowly but steadily, and the only place where Caesar is gaining is through sector 2 and 3, majorly sector 3, and we can see Flipper is just weaving all over the track just to break the slipstream. Not really sure how much fair is that. I mean, you're allowed to move just once, but yeah, you can see Flipper was just sneaking all over the track at the main straight. But Caesar still trying to close the gap to Flipper, and you can see he's well within the slipstream zone, so the draft he will be getting will help him really to close the gap down to Flipper. And you can see he's really right almost at his exhaust pipes, and now you can see just at the braking zone how much he has closed down, even though the tire wear between both of them are relatively equal. But it's the braking and the cornering where Mercedes is superior to the Viper. Viper is really good on the straights, but really struggles everywhere else, and that's where Mercedes comes into play and just closes the gap. You can see how close Caesar is to Flipper, but it will be a challenge to overtake Flipper through sector 3, and you can see again Caesar closing in to Flipper. But now will Flipper make it difficult for Caesar? We'll have to wait and see. But for Caesar, he will be looking to make the move stick before any of the longest straight, because he knows that at the straights he has no chance against the Viper. As you can see further back the field, Clownster, Knight and Balkaran has closed down the gap to Clownster on his racing soft, and now he's looking to make his move. Meanwhile, I can see on the map Caesar and just see, so there was no attack done there, but you can see Caesar now right on tail of Flipper, so he is getting the slipstream, and he had got a better exit of that final corner. You can see on the outside he breaks it, gives him all the room and makes the move stick down the outside. What a move from Caesar here. And Flipper meanwhile doing the right thing, not battling him too much. He knows that there's still some time left in the race, and he can try to get back at him probably in the next few corners. Will he try down the outside? No, Caesar holds the inside line and parks the bus beautifully, and giving no room to Flipper to go for the switchback line. And again you can see he's just parking the bus at the apex. Absolutely no chance for Flipper to make his move, so Flipper should stay patient and probably try to make his move at the next or you can say at the back straight, as small that is, but it's still the back straight, and we'll have to wait and see if Flipper is able to make the move. But now he gets the hit of dirty air, and yes, that slowed him down much more than he would have hoped for, and Caesar is safe for now as Ancient Pleb is back into the pits, and he will be, I'm assuming, going on to the set of softs, I believe. Abby, by the way, who had been dominating this race, had some incident, and he's right down the order in P3. So somewhere where no one expected him to be after dominating the early half or the first half of the race, is down into P3, but he will still be looking to make the move. As you can see, Balkaran is still behind Clownster. So Clownster is doing a pretty good job of holding holding Balkaran behind him, who's on the racing software. You can see just lost control by a bit, and Sands is in the pits. So Flipper still not able to find a way through Caesar. For the field, we can see there's a battle between RKV and Skinny. So RKV is on the Von mediums. Look at the tire wear he has. So he's still continuing stretching these tires as much as he possibly can. Fuel wise, he's still around 20%, but Skinny is on a fresh soft. So I mean, this is not even a battle really. So I must have missed the move here. And for the back down the field, Flipper is still on Caesar's tail. Caesar defending really hard, and he knows that not much of a time left. Remember, this is a 30-minute endurance race, so you can see Flipper is going around the outside, but this is not the place to make the move stick, and he is trying as much as he can, and then he gets, I believe he got a tap from the back, and Flipper doing the right thing, and yeah, allowing Caesar through. So fair play to Flipper to let him through, and I believe this is the final lap. You can see 30 seconds are about to be over, and let's go back up the field. Wildest Monk has been overtaken by Asian Pleb on the final lap. This is the final lap. 30 seconds are up, 30 minutes are up, and so this is the final lap. So Wildest Monk will be looking to stay behind Ancient Pleb. Let's have a look at the tire wear, and yeah, so this looks really difficult for Wildest Monk to keep up with Ancient Pleb, especially with the pace the Ancient Pleb has and the tire advantage that he carries as present. So this looks a certain victory for Ancient Pleb unless he makes a massive mistake. As we see a yellow flag somewhere, was there somewhere behind, someone in front, and yes, we can see Abitaco into the gravel. Where is he? Which part? Oh yes, the far chicane left, right, and you can see he's been overtaken by the leaders, and he will be overtaken by Abitaco pretty soon. And we can see checkered flags starting from Caesar. So Caesar and the guys behind him have been officially lapped, and yeah, final sector has been started for Ancient Pleb. You can see the gap he has built with Wildest Monk. Abby to speed for the down the field, not very happy, I'm assuming. Fun anyway. Skinny and RKV are still on the track, but we'll come on board with Ancient Pleb. Just 3 more corners to go, and what a race he has had. He was well behind Abby to speed the last I checked, but somehow he has managed to pit the most number of times, rounding off the final corners, and he has managed to stay calm and take the first win of the PRX Racing League. Wildest Monk, what a race for him. Held on to his nerve, rarely made any mistake, showed his pace early on, and finishes P2. Abby to speed, someone who looked really well set to win this race, finishing in a P3, so he must be really disappointed there. Fun anyway, who has had a good battle with Wildest Monk, is going to cross to the finish line in P4. So he waves across the finish line, assuming that he's very satisfied with it. Skinny, meanwhile, I think he started somewhere from behind the grid, finishing P5, so those are healthy 10 points. And you can see RKV, his tires are dead, and look at him, he's struggling to even keep his car on the track. So that is the race done. What a race we have had. Lots of position changes, a lot of incidents, but a lot of close wheel-to-wheel racing as well, clean racing at that. So well done to one and all. Hard luck for people who didn't finish as high as they would have hoped, but it's a long season. It's a 10-race season. I'm sure they can have plenty of opportunities to finish up the order. But thank you for tuning in for the commentary of race 1 of Proximity GT Sport Racing League. This is Caesar, who has been commentating on these, and hopefully will be commentating in the future races as well. And up until next time, it's good night.